So today we're doing part 2 of 1.8, which was combinations of functions. We got cut off a little bit early, and we missed, does not like my C as a C. I want to make it a 0 or an O. Talking about composition of functions, which is another type of combination, right? So what we've gone over is we've gone over the regular things that we know. We went over f plus g of x, right, which equals f of x plus g of x, right, which just means we can add those functions together. And we did f minus g of x, right, which is the same thing. We could do f of x minus g of x. We did f times g of x, and we did f divided by g of x. And what we're working on now is what's called composition of functions, which is f composed of g of x, right? And what composition means, when we're talking about composition, we're talking about plugging one into the other. What we're saying is that we're going to take f of x, and what we're plugging in for x is g of x. G of x is our input into f. Now, it sounds like it might be complicated, but it's really not that bad. And I think the best way to show it to you is to just give you examples. So if I am given, got the guys blowing leaves outside of my room right now, and it's kind of loud. So if I'm given a function, given f of x equals x plus 2 equals x plus 2, and g of x equals, let's say 4 minus x squared, right? And it asks me to find f of g of x and g of f of x. What we're going to do is, these are inverse compositions, right? They're composed of each other. To find, let's do A, f of g of x. That's saying that we are going to take f, and for our input, we're going to put in g of x. What does that mean? Well, right now we know f of x, right, is x plus 2, right? Here's my f of x, here's my g of x. So anywhere that I have an x in my f of x, I'm going to plug in whatever g of x is. So here I've got x plus 2, so I am going to have 4 minus x squared plus 2. My x just became whatever g was. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to solve that. I can take this all out of here, right? Nothing's happening to it. So I have 4 minus x squared plus 2. This is going to give me minus x squared plus 6. This is my function right here. This is my f of g of x. It's what happens when I plug g of x into the x value there of f of x. Now it also asked me to find g composed of f of x, which means we're going to do the opposite. We are going to take g of x and we're going to input f of x into it, which means I'm going to do the opposite of what I did the last time. I am going to take this and input it for x over here, right? So when I look at this, I'm going, well, here I have 4 minus x squared is my g. So 4 minus, where I have x, I'm going to put in x plus 2 squared. And I'm going to go ahead and solve that, right? This one's a little bit more complicated because it's like saying 4 minus x plus 2 times x plus 2, right? When we square it. So we would have to distribute. We would have 4 minus, let's see what we come up with, x squared plus 2x plus 2x more plus 4, right? And I'm going to simplify that. I'm going to have 4 minus, let's see, we've got, sorry, this was x squared plus 4x plus 4. And now we have to go ahead and distribute this negative through, and it's going to give us 4 minus x squared, right? Minus 4x minus 4, and we're going to get equals negative x squared minus 4x. 4 minus 4 is just 0, so this is what we wind up with. Right? This is how we compose a function. Right? It's just about plugging one into the other. I'm going to do another example, and then that should end this video. Let's see what we've got. Let's do given f of x equals x plus 8 and g of x equals x minus 3. Let's do all of the functions on it, all of our combinations, right? We'll start with our composition because, well, that's what we're working on now. If I want A, we'll ask for g of f of x. B, we'll ask for f of g of x. C, let's go with g of x. Right? That's a little something new that we haven't done. And then we'll go D, we'll go with f plus g of x. Something just magically started printing on my, and we'll go f minus g of x. We'll do each one of these pieces, right? Knowing that f of x equals x plus 8 and g of x equals x minus 3, we're going to start over here. And I'm going to go, okay, well, I have g of f of x. That means I'm going to plug f into g, right? So G is x minus 3. So where I have my x minus 3, I'm going to put in x plus 8 minus 3. When I bring that out, I wind up with x plus 8 minus 3, which is x plus 5. When I do this one, we're talking f of g. So now we're plugging in x minus 3 into the x value for x plus 8. So I have x plus 8 where my x is. I'm going to put in x minus 3 plus 8. Probably get the same result on this one, right? I wind up with x minus 3 plus 8, which is x plus 5. Now this piece is saying g of g, which means that we are going to plug g back into its x value. I am going to take x minus 3, and where I have x, I'm going to plug in x minus 3. So I'm going to have x minus 3 minus 3. I just plugged g back into itself, right? And that's going to give me x minus 3, which is x minus 6. But we can do other functions on it as well. We could go f plus g. F plus g means I'm going to take my x plus 8, and I'm going to add it to my x minus 3. Because it's plus, we can take all the parentheses out, and we get x plus 8 plus x minus 3. And we can go, okay, well, that is 2x plus 5. Our last one I did was f minus g of x, right? Which means that we're going to have the same thing. We're going to have x plus 8 minus x minus 3, which means that I'm going to have my x plus 8 stays the same when I pull it out. But I have to distribute this negative in here, which is going to give me negative x. And then I have to distribute it here, which is going to give me plus 3. And I wind up with just 11. X minus x is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11. So those are just some samples of combinations, and I wanted to refresh you on adding and subtracting. Multiplying would work the same way, but you'd have to distribute it out, right? If I wanted to do multiplication of that, I would take x plus 8 and multiply it times, right? If we add an f value here, right, that was fg of x, I would just take x plus 8 times x minus 3, and I would have to distribute, right? I would go x times x is x squared, and then I'd go x times minus 3 is minus 3x, and here I go 8 times x gives me plus 8x, and here I go 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, and then I would create, I would simplify, and I would get x squared plus 5x minus 24. All right, so that should get you through all of 1.8. The assignment will be posted today, and you're free to go. Ask me any questions you have. Send me an email, send me a text message, send me a carrier pigeon, and I will be here to help you if you need any. Have a good afternoon.